ISIS. That's just what my life is, and has been. So I was born in India. Both my parents are Indian, so that part is easy. But when I was 6 months old, our family moved to Burkina Faso, West Africa, which is a small country just south of the Sahara Desert. And so when I was, I guess, age 2 to 5, I started out at a French nursery school where I learned French, so that was the first language that I learned, alongside Oriya, which is the regional language in India from the state that I'm from. And then when I was 5, I moved to the American International School, so then I learned English, and of course, like any self-respecting Indian living anywhere on the planet, I watched Bollywood. So I learned Hindi as well, so I had these 4 languages going on in parallel. And the international school that I went to was a small school of about 120 kids, but representing about 88 countries. So literally every other student in every class of mine was from another country. And in addition to that, you know, I had on the one hand, kindergarten through 6th grade, Valentine's Day cards, Halloween costumes, Easter egg hunts, Christmas caroling, and then in parallel at home, every Hindu holiday on the Hindu calendar, celebrated with all the rites and rituals, you know, eating bhel puri and chana masala and chapatis and rice and dal alongside croissants and baguettes and crepes, all of which seemed perfectly normal to me. And as though that wasn't sort of confusing enough in terms of identities, although I always thought that was normal, and everybody's life was like that, I would spend every summer in India, and we're not talking about, you know, Bombay, Delhi, we're talking about this really small city in eastern India, and I have a gigantic family, like a testament to India's population problem. Just to give you an example, I have 38 first cousins. I don't even know how many second cousins I have. So every summer was this big extravaganza with family, you know, spent in a quintessential Indian way, only to return at the end of the summer to my sort of Franco-African, American, Indian existence in Burkina Faso. So that was till I was 12. And then I moved to India for 6 years. I went to a boarding school from 7th grade to 12th grade, which is where I sort of acquired my Indian identity. And I really learned to be Indian, and I learned to speak like an Indian, and, you know, embrace Indian classical music and Indian dance, and really traveled all over India, and really learned an India that I didn't experience through my family. So in a sense, I was experiencing a duality even in my Indian experience, because the kids at school came from sort of Indian families that were much more westernized than mine, and so I had this dual thing going with this my Indian and my American accents, and then I had the same thing going on with my French, because I would speak French. I still speak French with a French accent when I speak to my French friends, and then with an African accent when I speak to Francophone Africans. It's kind of a messed up thing that happens when you have a childhood like mine, which is a complete hodgepodge of identities and cultures, all of which you embrace and sort of own in a very authentic way, even though it's like 5 different identities, 4 or 5 different identities. And then, so that was India. And then when I was 18, I moved to the US and came here for college and went through lots of graduate school, and and I've been living here my entire adult life, so I have a huge, the US is a huge part of my life and a huge part of my identity. And then, as though that isn't confusing enough, 2 years ago, I made a massive switch in my professional identity, going from doing global public health in Africa and in India to corporate America. So I'm still doing the same kind of health research that I've done before, but now at a gigantic pharmaceutical company. So another layer of identity crisis going on there. So yeah, I mean, if you grow up on 3 continents, speaking 4 languages and 6 accents, and make radical switches in your career choice, you're going to have an identity crisis. But the good part is, at some point or the other, you become one with your multiple identities.